When you find a real estate platform that aligns everyone in the entire company financially by making us real estate agents owners, so when the average agent wins, everyone wins, that's the secret to success. And when you surround yourself with like-minded entrepreneurial people who absolutely love what they do, they love serving people, they love God and life, and you put yourself in an environment of high energy, high producing, positive people every day, you can't help but succeed in business and life. We are changing the real estate industry and changing real estate agents' lives. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever Podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Financial Freedom Forever Podcast. Today, I'm super excited to be talking to my good friend and business partner, Gary Wilson. He has a long biography here. I'm just going to give a couple of notes so people know Gary, who we're talking to today, and it's quite impressive. So hopefully they'll have a bunch of questions for you. But just like I said, a short biography. At the age of 40, he retired as a corporate vice president at mergers and acquisitions in a national banking company. He completed over 100 transactions per year consistently, every year without a sales team or assistant, with virtually no marketing cost. He traded over 3,000 investment properties in less than 5 years. He developed 5 real estate holding companies, owning more than 250 rental units. Gary's a self-made millionaire by building real estate enterprises, including brokerages, rental management companies, investment services, appraisals and services, etc. Author of 7, probably more books than that by now. And has appeared over 100 national local media outlets, including CBS, Fox, NBC, ABC, et cetera, et cetera. And the founder and trainer and coach of Path to Profit, teaching over more than 20,000 agents and investors and over 1,000 speaking engagements. So, and that's just the quick cliff notes of the biography. So welcome, Gary. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Andre. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate that very warm and kind introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure to be in business with you for the last couple of years. I think it's been about 2.5 years. I think that we partnered up at EXP. But let's share a little bit more of your background, some of the things that I didn't maybe mention, or let's elaborate on them a little bit, and we'll get started.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I will want everybody to know in the beginning. When I was 8 years old, I was drawing house plans, not using professional scales and techniques and things like that. But my grandfather, turns out, one of the things he taught as a professor was architecture and drafting. So he taught me how to draw houses. So I've been doing floor plans since I was 8 years old. And then the really big lucky break, though, my freshman year in college, my college roommate, his name's Socrates. His dad was a big investor in Richmond, Virginia, a Greek immigrant. First, spoke broken English, but spoke the language of business very well. He taught Sock and I how to invest. He helped us buy our first house. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom ranch in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Never gave us a dime, just showed us how to structure it correctly based on what the market was doing. And then 10 years later, I decided to do more investing. I got married and all that in the meantime. But moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and in 1 year up there, I bought 30 units, essentially duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. And I knew at that moment, I was 35 years old. I'm like, you know what, I can retire and call my own shots. I didn't do that because I'm basically very conservative. But when I was 40 years old, I did retire from the corporate world. And at that point, I had probably, I'd say maybe 170 some odd units in a bought a bigger building later on, eventually went over 250. But what I did is I launched a brokerage company in the middle of all that. I got my license really out of frustration. I didn't intend to be a regular real estate agent. I just got my license to give me more tools and ability to invest more. And I can fill you in the rest, Andre, if you want. But that was really what got me in the real estate brokerage, was through the portal of investing. That's how it all got started,
Yeah, and you've been an investor for a long time, and even started your own coaching program on how to teach agents on how to attract investors to work with, and et cetera. Share a little bit about that background and we'll continue.
Sure. Well, when I first had my license, I was interviewed by one of the, I call him the late night gurus, one of the guys who used to see the infomercials at night. And he was in Pittsburgh, and he looked me up because somebody had told him about me. At the time, I think I had maybe 45 units. And he called me up and said, "Hey, I want to see if you want to be on a radio program. It's my Saturday morning business program." I knew exactly what it was and who he was, and I was completely thrilled. I'm like, holy crap, little old Gary Wilson's going to be on the radio, man. I said, hell yeah. So I go in there 8 o'clock Saturday morning. I had no idea what I was going to talk about, but it didn't matter because he just wanted me to tell my story. Right. So in any case, what happened is next week he called me and he said, "I want you to come in and speak to some of my students." He said, after that radio program last Saturday, he said more people called him to get in this training because they associated me with the training. I never took his training before, but I went in one of his classes on a Saturday, and he said, "I just want you to meet the guys." Had lunch with them, and it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. They had me just talk a little bit about my investing strategy. Well, that turned into me doing that maybe once a month on a half a Saturday, and people kept asking me, "Andre, hey, can you be my agent?" Because they learned that I had my license. I used to say, no, I don't do that. I got my license for myself. And after there times I'm thinking, maybe God's trying to tell me something. So I learned a really valuable lesson in marketing that next Saturday. I went into class and I said, "Look, I know you're going to ask it, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you right up front here. I can help some of you, but I can't help all of you. I'm going to agree to take out 2 of you as my personal clients." Well, there's 25 people in the class, and every hand went up. Everybody was like, and I'm like, ooh, I think I just learned a valuable lesson in marketing. So in any case, what I did is I would charge them a little bit and then collect commissions on their transactions. Plus, the thing is, and this is really important, everybody listening, I want you to really focus in on this. It allowed me to get my head in the game more fully. I'm more immersed in the business of investing. So I'm investing myself. I'm helping these other people invest. I'm learning from some of the other investors because they had already invested and they had their own techniques. So it expanded my scope of my tool belt, if you will, the strategies and methods that I had to use. Well, eventually I launched my own brokerage, and get this, it was January of 2008, right when the recession was going full steam ahead. And everybody thought I was some kind of an idiot, Right. And maybe I was, I don't know. But the funny thing is all the brokerages lost according to NAR, half the agents left the business in the recession. My business grew 6-fold in those first couple of years of the recession. Then I became a target. What I mean by target is Coldwell Banker, Remax, Keller Williams, all of them were coming after me to buy my company. And I'm like, why would I sell this? This is like, we did thousands of transactions. It was insane. But through a series of life events, I decided, you know what? I do want to sell. I don't want to get out of Pittsburgh. I want to go back to the beach in Virginia, where I'm from. I just want to be with my family and friends. And so I did a merger, and the company I went with had me go around teaching all the agents how to work with investors. I did that for 8 years, built up another big business out of that. And that's what I brought in the EXP a couple of years ago. And I know I'm not here to talk about EXP per se. I'm happy to share my story about that. I just want to tell you that EXP was the only company that gave me the platform, a national platform that I could tap into and operate across state lines and not have to pay all those franchises and all those regions and all that ownership, to operate in those areas. I only have to pay once. I pay once a year, right? That's all I do. And I have agents on my team in 38 states. So the team is focused on, we do work with owner occupants, don't get me wrong. That's absolutely a part of the business model. We just have an entirely separate platform that focuses on the investor directly, and they love it. Investors love it. We walk the talk. We speak the language. We know the terminology, the methodology. And, we've now eclipsed, I think it's 850 transactions. And I'm just blown away, So, lots of, that's all the good stuff. I just want to tell people there are challenges along the way in the early days. I had some mistakes and things like that, but the wins far outweighed the things that were not winners. And I learned a valuable lesson. This is something else to write down. Whatever you do, whatever you build when you start out, you want to start small. You learn small, learn on a small scale. Small scale meaning your time, energy, and money. Learn small. Then when you know you've got something that's working, then you can infuse the money and more time, more energy, more money to grow big. So it's learn small and grow big. So, one or two businesses I built that it's not like I lost money. They just didn't work out that well. I didn't really lose money. I just shut them down or sold them. The ones that were making the money, those are the ones I kept and put more energy into. And all were real estate related: title business, property management, appraisal, brokerage. We were even going to launch a bank back in I think it was 2011, maybe 2012, and we pulled out of that at the last minute. They were literally the 11th hour, because I knew there was new legislation coming out of Congress related to lending money and appraisals and all that.
Right.
And already an appraisal company, I said, guys, I just got a bad feeling about this. So I'm the one that said we're gonna shut this down before it's too late. And thank goodness we did. We'd have been at a huge disadvantage launching a lending business at that time with owning these other businesses while we were doing it. It just would not have been a good thing. So any case, moral of the story is trust your instincts.
Yeah.
But back to the investing, it was always part of what we were doing. We work with owner occupants, but I think every agent should have a balanced model. You should work with owner occupants and investors. Just remember, if you work with both of those clients, you've got to have two hats you can wear. You got to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk with both types of clients. Investors don't think like owner occupants and vice versa. Right. So I kind of want to take a break there, Andre. Let you chime in if you want to focus on anything particular.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. I wanted to just welcome all of our listeners here, Rick and Tracy, Sanjeev. Any of you guys have any questions? Bill, Rick, Pierre. There's a few I can't pronounce. I'm sorry, but if you guys have any questions for Gary, just put them in the comment sections, and we'll just go ahead and ask them. But yeah, we'll switch gears a little bit, and then I want to talk about Conquer 2024 and what you're doing. But I know you said, you had merged your personal independent real estate company, had some life changes and decided to merge with another pretty big, franchise. I know you're happy there as well. How long were you at the other, franchise, and why did you choose EXP to grow your brand now?
Yeah, great question. So I was there for 8 years in a great company. I didn't leave because I was unhappy or sad or angry or anything like that at all. But I was doing a lot of training for a lot of years, and I'd gotten out of production. I was strictly training. It was literally daily, weekly, all over the U.S. and Canada. And I was ready to get off the road. So I thought, I'm going to just launch a national team. I don't want to have a brokerage again, because I knew if I launched an independent brokerage, to grow on a large scale it's not an easy task. Even if you went in with a big brokerage company, the franchise model, or you did your own franchise model, guys, it's a lot of work, a lot of risk, and a lot of liability. In every state you go in, you got to set up shop. It's very expensive, time, energy, and money. So that was the independent model, looking at doing a franchise. So I crossed that one off the list because I'd already launched a business. I knew what it was like, Then I looked at the other brokerages, the big franchise models, thinking, well, I'll just go ahead and pack it in and join one of them and pay their franchise fees and all that stuff. And I thought about it. I said, man, if I do that, here's what people don't understand. You can launch a franchise and they'll tell you it's a $50,000 franchise fee or $35,000, whichever brokerage you're with. That's just a franchise fee. To really launch the business, you need like $250,000, right? In setup costs, marketing. And you're not going to start off with 200 agents. You're going to start off with 2 agents, and you got to grow to 200 agents. Quite difficult. So EXP comes along, and they had talked to me back in 2017. I went and met Glenn Sanford at the conference in Lauderdale. I didn't have the vision. I just couldn't grasp how I could fit in. It wasn't until a friend of mine named Dana, he'd just gone over the EXP. He knew me. We're really good friends. We're both brokers. He knew how to get me to listen. And when he explained to me the EXP model, I was like, this is ingenious. because for everybody here listening, particularly if you're an independent brokerage or you got a team and you want to grow, like not, I don't mean just grow linearly, like grow to the next state. Doing that would take you a lifetime. Okay. If you want to grow across the country, even across multiple countries, you can do it like this. I mean, I'm in 3 years, Andre, I've been here three and a half years now. We're in 38 states and I only pay my one annual dues for myself. And that's it. It's $16,000. I don't pay another dime. And I get it all back, by the way, because I get Icon every year. So really, for zero cost, I get to operate a freaking business in 38 states. So the way EXP works is they created a playground or a sandbox, if you will, that allows all of us entrepreneurs to get in there and play together. And they don't give us a whole lot of rules. They give us the platform with the tools. I like to say we have the tools instead of the rules, right? The tools for success. They help entrepreneurs succeed. I don't mean just them giving you a platform, guys. What I'm talking about is they support you. You go to EXP with an idea. Hey, I want to try this. I got an idea for a team model. Their answer is going to be, let's see how we can help you figure that out. The other franchises, you know what they told me? Oh, you just do it our way. Just do it our way. The franchise went, I'm like, not going to work. Not going to work. And sure enough, it doesn't work. I know people that have tried it and it's a struggle. It's very expensive. So here at EXP, very cost effective, low overhead. There's no barriers. I can grow and add agents in any state I want. And all I got to do is attract them through a webinar or do a job post or something like that. EXP is already in those states. So the agents get their licenses in those states, and yet they're on my production team, right? It's ingenious model. And I looking back the last 3 years, I only wish I'd have started earlier. That's my biggest thing I could kick myself for is why didn't I listen and pay attention and start earlier,
Yeah, that's pretty incredible to be in that many states and you're working. I know when you had your own company, I think you had your own independent office, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you be in 30 plus states and have all those offices?
Yeah. Well, when I had my independent brokers, I went up to 50 agents very quickly. And that also got me a lot of attention. And how was I doing that? But when I looked at expanding, every state I go to, I've got to get licensed in that state, right? As a broker, I've got to get, business insurance, insurance, the whole 9 yards, and set up a physical operation. Every state's going to require to have one physical location, okay, minimum. So along comes EXP. They meet those state requirements. In every state, EXP has a physical presence, multiple locations, by the way. And a lot of the big team leaders have their own offices too. So they satisfy those state level requirements. But what EXP does differently is, let me just first explain the franchise model. If you're in a franchise model, and let's say you're working in Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. You can commute between all three states. You're up there where all three meet. In any franchise model, each of those offices that you want to operate out of are going to be independently owned and operated, just like it says on the business card, independently owned and operated. Right. Well, those owners aren't going to let you work there for free. They're going to want a fee. You got to pay them. Every office you operate out of, you have to pay that office. And by the way, you have to pay the region. So let's imagine those three states are in also three different regions. You got to pay the franchise, the local franchise. You got to pay the region, and you still got to pay the royalty to the big kahuna, the company itself, right? So at EXP, we don't have that kind of a structure. We don't have the franchise model and the region model and all that kind of stuff. We don't have to pay those people. We just pay the mothership, EXP, and it's very minimal. You get it individually. It's $16,000 a year. If you're on a team, it's a standard team is $8,000 a year for team members. And if you're on a mega expansion team, that's $4,000 a year per agent. That's all it is. $4,000 a year, an agent can operate completely, right? So the point is EXP gives us the operations platform that takes care of compliance, liability, operations management, all the logistics we need to operate like we were a brokerage. But our role is simply on the production side, on the sales side. We have to just focus on production, making sure we have the leads coming in, and we are training our agents EXP has great training. I also teach EXP University, but most good teams have their own internal training too, because they have their own unique ways of doing things. So as long as you focus on that and you focus on your team members and help them become the heroes, you're going to succeed. You're going to keep a lot more of your profit, by the way. There's far less expenses. And every time you help somebody else succeed, if you're on a team, you get a portion of commissions, but you also get what's called revenue share. And that's like this quiet, giant performing sea swell that's growing over time. And I mean, I'm looking at the numbers now. I mean, I could retire. I could retire just on that, it's very substantial. And I know other companies have like a profit share model too. And I've been part of one of those big franchises. There's not even anything close to this, not even close. This is like EXP shares 50% of their profit with us. And if we hit icon status, we even get our $16,000 back. So it's absolutely the best model out there for profit generation and expense containment. You got to manage you got to play defense too, so much easier here.
I think you told me at the other company that you're at where you had profit share, the difference between the profit share with the other franchise compared to the revenue share at EXP. What was the difference for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, fundamentally, the formula is different. So in the franchise model, they of course have a lot of overhead. All those places have to be paid for. Every office has got a manager, a broker, a receptionist. They got to pay the electric bills and the gas bills and light bills, all that kind of stuff. So there's less profit for them to share. What they do is they share their net profit. So let's say you got, $1 million coming in gross profit, and their expenses are half of that, 500,000, which is not unreasonable. That means the other 500,000 is what they share. With EXP, our revenue share is based on gross revenue coming in the front end, not net revenue on the back end, right? Our revenue is based on gross receipts coming in the door. So number one, we're sharing we're sharing the whole pie, quite frankly, right? The other thing too is the actual formula itself. So I actually did the analysis, and a lot of people that know me know this. I'm kind of a nerd. So I worked in banking. I was at NASA for a while and got a degree in computer science. So I crunched the numbers. In my first 2 years here at EXP, in just the first 2 years, I'd already made more than 26 times more in revenue share than I made the entire 8 years at the prior company. And at the prior company, I had 78 people in my downline there. And then literally 26 times more in 1/4 of the time. And not more agents, by the way. Didn't have any more agents. It was about the same number,
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Well, congratulations, Gary, for what you've built over the years, and I'm super excited at what you're currently building here, EXP, and in the future. Where do you see yourself, in the next 3 to 5 years with your growth and the way you're working your business?
Well, I'm going to keep going. I got plenty of gas in the tank. I mean, my dad didn't retire till he was 78. My Granddad Bessie didn't retire till she was 94. And I love what I'm doing. What's funny, Andre, is I'm just excited today as I was all those years ago. It's an amazing, model that I'm teaching others. I'm serving others, helping them grow. So my model is this. I tell people, I'm not the hero. I'm the guide, and they're the hero. The people that are on my team are the hero. So everything goes in their name. All the sales, all the listings goes in the agents' names. I help them build their models. What I do. So I see myself continuing that easily for another 7 years, 10 years. I always will be in the business. But as far as active participation, one of my goals is to create enough other heroes. These are leaders. These are people that also want to train and coach, that eventually I work myself out of that part of the business. They call it working yourself out of a job. Right. Then all I've got to do is really just be the spokesperson, be the person up on the stage. And that's already starting to happen. I've written 8 books. You were part of the 8th book that I wrote, Andre. That was a great honor to have you write a chapter in that. And then I just got invited to submit an article to Success Magazine for consideration and publication. That's a great honor. That's the kind of stuff I like to do. I like sharing my story, and I like teaching and training. So I will never stop doing that. I just might do it through a different medium, like speaking and writing and things like
Right.
that. And I have other people do the one-on-one coaching. I do the one-on-one coaching now, and I love it. I had an agent on my team. She just recently resigned. When I first met her, 5 years ago, she had a total of 2 transactions. She just resigned, and just the 3 years she was here under me, she had 75 transactions, right?
Wow.
Starting from scratch. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. The money comes when you focus on the what's the vision. When you focus on the vision, it usually involves others, serving others. You don't have to chase money. The money's going to come to you just through that exercise and that vision.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you've basically built your legacy, and now you're helping others to build theirs. And that's really, I know you're a big, huge giver and of your time and talents, and just super to be in business with you. We have Gary's phone number there. Gary's located in Pennsylvania. He's got a house in Pennsylvania and Virginia, Florida, so he's all over. Yeah, if you have any questions for Gary and you want to reach out to him directly, please do. And because he has his global investor agent team, like I said, in over 38 states.
38 states and growing. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And I'm sure looking to get into all 50. So if anyone has any questions, reach out, or if you're on the Zoom or podcast now, type it in the comment section there. Hi, Brandy. It's good to see you. It's Sam. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you, share this out on Facebook and share this with your friends. It's QR code there as well, and get the word out so we can, help others continue to build their legacies. Let's switch gears just a little bit. Gary, I know we have the name of our podcast today was Conquer 2024. And I know you're going to be doing some pretty amazing things here coming up. Let's share with our listeners what you're doing and some of the things that you're going to be teaching on and how they can get plugged in to get help from you.
Oh, sure. So we're doing a online live event on January 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And in true fashion, in keeping up with our team spirit and team mission, is it's not just going to be me teaching. I've got 3 other people on a team teaching. John Giggy, he's a certified John Maxwell gold level coach. This dude, top notch. I mean, best there is. Shastine Bradley, she's building her own team now. She's on the team. She's going to be teaching her number 1 favorite marketing campaign. She's top producer, by the way, number 1 on the team. And then Gina Hansen is going to be teaching a segment 2, and she's top. I used to work for her, right? And now we're partners. And she was at one point top 25 managers in the country, office managers in the country. Okay. I mean, this girl's got it going on. So we're teaching totally for free. There's nothing to sell, nothing to buy. There's no recruiting. It's just straight up education to help everybody, conquer their market in 2024. It's all about the goodwill. We do it. It's a community service. We're going to do this every year. We did it before. We liked it. We're now going to do it on a regular basis. And there's content coming out, Andre. I don't know if you got anything you can share. I don't have a link with me or anything like that here, but people can do that. And you're welcome to join us on Monday Night Live too. Every Monday night, I teach a class for free. Anybody's welcome to join anytime. No strings attached,
Yeah, the Monday Night Live calls, they've been on. I get on most of them, and they're really, really good. And we have agents from all different companies on there getting plugged in, asking questions, and learning from you. So if anyone's on today right now, feel free just to leave us a message here on our Facebook, on my Facebook page, and just ask for either the Monday Night Live link or the Conquer 2024 link, and we'll definitely get it out to you and be happy to do that. Gary, what would you say was your biggest surprise joining EXP a couple of, almost 3 years ago?
Wow. Well, the biggest thing, The first biggest thing was the technology. I was blown away by what we're capable of doing now. I mean, I've taught agents from all the different groups. I'm telling you, what we have is bar none. It's the best. But really, what started happening, Andre, was the support I was getting from like, I already we knew each other already, but you definitely. I mean, I've never felt so much love in my life. The support you give us is tremendous, and it goes all the way up. I've called people at the top of the organization who maybe they knew my name, but we didn't really know each other. They not only took my call, they helped me out with whatever it was I was calling about. I've even called people that were like the number one commercial agent in the world came over. He was up in British Columbia. I called him up because I was talking to one of my former students who was going into luxury, had a question. He not only took my call, he agreed to call the other agent too. I mean, this is the kind of level of support I'm completely overwhelmed by, and it continues to this day. And that I think what makes it so amazing is when I came over, I had people tell me from the old brokerage, "Oh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to leave because you're not going to get any support," and blah 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 blah. It's all fear mongering. This is totally false. This is absolute. The as far as level of support, the best I've experienced in all the years I've been in the business, and I've been in the business this January, this week, for my first property, 38 years, and 22 years as a broker. That's a big, bold statement,
38 years. That's you got me beat by a few. I'm 32, going on 33. That's awesome. We'll definitely get the link. I see some people putting in, asking for the link. So we'll definitely be sending that out to you. We'll be posting it on our Facebook pages as well. So you can come back and grab it. Invite your friends. Monday Night Live as well. Talk about some of the things that you teach on Monday Night Live, Gary, absolutely free every week at 7:00 Eastern.
So Monday Night Live is, it started off in the early days. This goes back, I started teaching that. It wasn't always Monday nights. It was like different night of the week, but always 7 Eastern. Different subjects related to investing and brokerage, and more importantly, real estate agents working with investors. And we finally decided to make it Monday night. And that was probably 3.5 years ago. So maybe before that. But what I decided to do was expand the content base. So instead of me teaching every week, I thought I want to bring in more value for more people, because I was doing podcasts. We've done several hundred podcasts now over the years, me on other people's podcasts, people on mine,
right,
and some very talented, smart people that had niche level knowledge that I didn't, right? So I would invite them to teach class, and they were happy to do it. So now we got these industry experts. We generally do one a month, sometimes two, teaching things like, how do you actually buy land? How do you actually invest in land? Things like that. Using AI. So we're now on our team, we have an entire suite of AI tools and scripts for all the agents on the team. So we brought in an AI expert to do that kind of stuff. We'll have somebody come in and talk about Facebook marketing. We'll have somebody come and talking about self-directed IRAs, So, all these things that are really important to our clients and ourselves as agents. It's an amazing opportunity for me to be able to provide that, because I'm learning from it too, along with everyone else. So it varies week to week. When I'm teaching, it's usually a little bit technical. I'm teaching, how do you analyze a flip? How do you know you're getting a good rental? All that type of stuff. I teach them the actual tools they need, and we demonstrate them live in class. And we give the tools out. So we give a lot of stuff for free, that. But there's nothing you can buy or anything. Just take notes and spread the love.
Yeah, like I said before, you're just a big giver of your time and talents, and we really appreciate all that you do for our group, and we're proud to be in business with you for sure, Gary.
Well, thank you, Andre. I feel the same way, man. I couldn't have asked for a better partner, guys. I'll leave you with this, by the way, for everybody listening. When I was in here, it's been about 3 months. I was sending an email out on a Saturday night, well, it was late Saturday, to 50 prospects, people I was speaking to about the team. And I referenced Andre, and I knew as a professional courtesy, I should copy Andre to let him see what I was saying. It's called a citation. You want to cite where you're getting the information. So the next morning, I'm getting up to go to church, and I go into my email, and I see Andre on his own, of his own volition, took it upon himself to reach out to each of those 50 people individually and put in his 2 cents worth. I was completely blown away, and people today on the team, everybody on my team knows Andre because he's involved. He cares. It's the age old saying, people will listen to you when they feel like you care, right? When they feel like you care. And Andre absolutely cares. He's intimately involved with everybody's success. Everybody in the entire organization knows who he is. He gets to speak at EXP conferences. All the top people, they rely on Andre, right? That's so I just want to put that out there, Andre. Thank you very much for being who you are, man.
I appreciate that, Gary. It's all about helping other people, right? I mean, part of our Zig Ziglar quote is, if you help enough other people get what they want, of course you'll get what you want. And we just want to help everyone be successful. And it's just, we thank Glenn Sanford for putting this whole model together, because we're all financially aligned, right? No matter the way the entire organization works, that you're all financially aligned. So when you help somebody here on your team locally, great, or somebody that's not even in your organization, but as the company grows, the stock grows, and we're all stock ownership, equity ownership holders, and our wealth continues to grow. So I'm excited about what 2024 is going to do for all of us. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, stock. By the way, stock's up 50% or more from several months ago, and it's projected to go to 20 a share, and it's already doing that. I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy, that's just like another. I didn't even talk about that. I mean, I better just stop now because I'll go on a tangent. But the stock's amazing, man. You can pull it out and use it for other purposes. Just let it grow, though. I mean, I could buy a very nice car with it right now.
Yeah, a lot of people will say, well, geez, you don't know what the stock's going to do and where it's going to go, and we don't. But I asked, well, how much stock are you receiving at your company, right?
Yeah.
For just doing your job, right? For selling homes and helping the company grow. I have tens of thousands of dollars to stock that was, instead of getting plaques and trophies that I can put on my wall, and they give those out as well. They give us ownership, so we can have something to retire on, or like I said, sell to do what we would like. But when I moved from New York to Georgia a while back, I had a huge box of trophies and plaques, and I couldn't take them to the bank. I ended up just throwing them out. It's like, it was great to get them, but I can't put my kids through college, or do anything with those. And with all the stock ownership that we get, we can bring it to the bank. We can put our kids through college. I actually did, because of the stocks and revenue share and the stuff the company provides, for sure. Just a couple of things, Gary, and we'll let you go. You said, earlier that you had heard about, EXP before, and then you didn't really understand it. And then a friend shared with you, and then the light bulb kind of went off, and you did your due diligence and figured out this was going to be a game changer for you. What would you say to other, independent broker owners like yourself, or team leaders like yourself, or even solo agents, to them that may have heard about it before? I mean, most everyone's heard about it, but didn't understand it. What would you recommend they do so they don't regret, like what you said you wish you would have came, sooner?
Oh yeah. Well, probably 3 things. First thing is guys, I know what it's like owning and running a brokerage. I mean, I've built one. I've built other businesses too. You don't get any downtime. There's no actual day off because you're the owner. You're going to get calls on Saturdays and Sundays and even on vacation. Okay. I'm not saying that necessarily that's going to stop if you go to EXP, but what it will tell you is all of the operations responsibilities are lifted off your shoulders. Okay. EXP provides the management, call it the management matrix. It's a platform. They provide all the liability, compliance, operations management, all of that, all those systems, transaction management, commission disbursement, all of that stuff, all the legal stuff. Okay. You are on the production matrix. You get to sit on top of that management matrix. Okay. And yet you now only have to focus on production. You can do it as a solo agent, or you can bring a team with you, or build a team inside of that company, or bring your brokerage. And by the way, you don't have to give up your brand. You know, you could, my broker's name was Win Realty Advisors. I just, early days, I changed the team name, but I call it the Win Realty team, right? You don't have to give up your brand. What you do give up is all the headaches. Okay. You can focus on production. You can focus on offense almost exclusively. It's amazing. So when you can focus on offense, knowing that your defense is taking care of you, you can score a lot more points a lot faster. So here's point number 2. That was the first point, was your brand. Second, you keep that. Second point is you get to focus on production and don't have to worry about operations. Okay. The third thing is this. Every business owner wants to grow. Okay. We're all entrepreneurs. Part of our DNA is to grow. We don't want to just sit on 50 agents. We want 100 agents. Then we want 500 agents. Then we want 1,000 agents. I'm telling you, and you should know this by now, but listening to me, if you try to do that, the old franchise model, and by the way, if you're an independent brokerage, by default, you fit within the franchise model because you're responsible for your own operations exclusively, your own marketing and everything. But when you don't exist in that model, you exist in this model, right? Now it's a global platform where operations are taking care of you everywhere. That frees you up to grow exponentially across state lines, across country lines. It will. There's no restrictions. There's nobody holding you back because EXP has already put a footprint in those different states and in those different countries. You're just climbing on top of that platform with your production model, your team, whatever you want to call it. You can grow. I've grown guys in 38 states in 3 years. Okay. It's 169 people in 3 years in 38 states. I could have never done that in a franchise model. It's zero cost. Remember, each year I get what's called icon status. I get my 16,000. Even if I had to pay the 16,000, it'd be way, way more worth it. You're going to give a franchisor, like one of the big boss companies, way more than 16,000 a year. Okay. So that's the third thing. Just meditate, contemplate, pray on those 3 things. And Andre, they're welcome to call me too, if you want to do a Zoom call with me for any of the brokerages and discuss that further. The point is you can grow exponentially, which means you're growing further and faster. You'll see it when you see it, right? You can't unsee it. There's an old saying we have: when you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll never go back.
Yeah, the funny thing is, as entrepreneurs, most of us start off as a solo agent. Then the next thing is to build a team, and then the next thing is be your own independent brokerage, and that's great. Most of us have all done that. But what happens is when you become your own independent brokerage and you start building up, your own, team within that brokerage, the things that you love to do, you do less and less of. And you do more of the things, the management things and the
Yep.
Dealing with the problems and the things that you don't love to do, right?
Yep.
And what I've noticed from independent brokers is they're able to stand on top of the EXP platform, and EXP takes care of 90% of the things they don't like to do. So that gives them so much more time to sell more houses, to mentor, leadership roles, whatever it is that they love to do. And you get to kind of have your cake and eat it too.
You got it. Yeah, it's an ingenious model. I'm not surprised we're at the size we are. I know other brokerages are already shrinking and we're growing. I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. I probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. And I'm so glad I did it. When I did it, I just wish I'd have done it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for your time today, Gary. I really appreciate you. My last question I always ask people before we end is, if you're a book reader, which I know you are, what's the most popular book that you'd like to recommend? Or if you're a movie watcher, your favorite movie?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with a book. It's called The Global Investor Agent. And it's the 8th book. I wrote it along with Andre and 7 other people. So guys, if this appeals to you, if you're an independent agent just starting out and you're trying to figure out what is that path to growth, the book shows it to you. I mean, we give you actual lessons, examples, tools, strategies. I mean, checklists you can follow. and you get to also hear it from 8 other people. You're not just hearing my story. Okay.
Right.
So, and by the way, we don't profit from that book at all. All proceeds go to the Healing House Foundation, 100%. Nobody takes a salary on that. So it's an amazing thing you're doing for the community. You can direct it too, by the way. It's an interesting concept. So in any case, boy, as far as movies, I mean, I just, I love a bunch of them. I would probably say Forrest Gump is like my favorite all time. It's got everything in it.
Yeah.
You can't watch a movie and not love it, and it's a great story of just, kind of almost rags to riches too. It's got everything, he got the girl in the end,
Yeah, right.
And, he became very wealthy, and he just was a good old fashioned good guy, nice guy, and focused on the fundamentals. And, I don't know why, I just always liked that movie,
That's awesome. Well, hey, thanks, Gary, again for joining us in the Financial Freedom Forever podcast. Anyone have any questions, definitely leave a message here. Reach out to Gary myself, and I'll be glad to give you a shout back. And we'll see you at the next Monday Night Live, Gary.
You got it. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, everybody listening.
All right. Have a great day, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Listen to what our business partners are saying about our FFF group.
What I like best about the Financial Freedom Forever group is that we have a diverse network of high-level producers that mastermind and share best practices to help improve each other's businesses. And the network has become such a close-knit group with such a tight culture that you just won't find anywhere else.
The Financial Freedom Forever group's been absolutely amazing. The training, the coaching, spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaching in the past, and I've gotten more out of the last year and a half than I've gotten out of all of them.
I believe if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are doing 10, 15, 20 times more than me and you put together, we all bring each other up and bring our businesses to the next level and our lives. To learn more about how to partner with us, go to partnerwithandre.com or click the link below, and let's have a conversation.